What up? So, I know it's August, and that means summer's almost over. People are closing up their pools in a few weeks after Labor Day, at least, where I'm at in the Northeast. But next NBA season, or this upcoming NBA season, I believe there is going to be a pool party in Washington, D.C. I'm talking about Jordan Poole, if you didn't get that. And I think, being the Wizards fan I am, maybe I'm biased, but I don't think there's many people left that still have a ton of faith in Jordan Poole. I am one of those few that have faith in Jordan Poole. I personally think this past year for Jordan Poole was an extremely humbling experience. And I think early on he was handling it very poorly. He did not do a good job of, maintaining, I don't even want to say composure, because he wasn't really not composed. He just was a little bit delusional, in my opinion. And it seemed like he thought he was the one running this team when clearly Kyle Kuzma was having a lot more success at that. Kyle Kuzma was the better option on offense. And when Jordan Poole struggled, he continued to struggle. It didn't really come until the end of the season when Brian Keefe, became, the interim coach and then the head coach of the team, that Jordan Poole started to play a little bit better. And they tried different stuff with him. They took him off the bench, they started him, they did a lot. And I saw a ton of flashes, this season that Jordan Poole can be, at least the player that he was in Golden State. But I think people are a little too harsh on him. I think it's a very big jump from where he went from. He went from, being on basically the best team that the NBA has seen over the last couple of years, not in their state at the time when he was on there, but, Jordan Poole was on the Golden State Warriors, and the Golden State Warriors over the last 10 years are regarded as basketball royalty. If you're on a team with Steph Curry, you always have a chance. Just like if you're on a team with LeBron James, you always have a chance. So there's very few players in the league's history that are like that. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Kareem, you have players like that, but obviously LeBron and Steph are really the only two that are in the NBA right now. I think Kevin Durant used to be in that category, but I don't think Kevin Durant's in that category anymore. But back to my point. I think Jordan Poole is going to bounce back. I really do think Jordan Poole is going to bounce back. And I think, something that was really good for me to see was, being the Wizards fan I am, I'm checking out all of the draft coverage and, their games at Summer League and, really trying to get a sense of what the team's going to be like, what the new rookies are going to be like. And Jordan Poole was at Vegas, watching games. He was, he called Alex Sarr after he got drafted. He was talking to all the rookies. So I think he's trying to, step into that role of being, a leader. And I don't think he really knew how to do it last year. And I think, frankly, a lot of the guys on the team didn't want to accept that. You guys have probably seen it, but there was that video of Jordan Poole. I think they were playing the Nets, and he just wasn't paying attention during the timeout. Landry Shamet was trying to get him to pay attention. It just wasn't a good situation. And then he kind of when they asked him a question about it, during media, he just wasn't I just felt like his answer wasn't great. He kind of gave an explanation, but it wasn't a good explanation. He's like, oh, well, random always happens in timeouts. You never know what's going on, blah, blah, whatever. And I'm like, you should be paying attention. You are not on a good team right now, and you got to figure out how the team's going to work. So, all of you guys are not necessarily proven guys. Jordan Poole, you got a championship. Yeah, Kyle Kuzma, you got a championship. But you weren't the main guy on those teams. In Washington, Poole and Kuzma, you're the main guys on that team last season. There's no one else. I mean, sure, you had Denny Avdia, but Denny Avdia was, making strides. You know, he had a very big stride from the year before last, you know, in terms of, you know, how he did last year and the year before that. He made, you know, a very, very big jump. But Deni Avdija is not there anymore. So this is going to be a little bit of a newer team. And you have Jonas Valanciunas there now, which I think is going to help a lot. I think Jonas Valanciunas is like kind of like a no bull type of guy. I think he's gonna be a good guy for Jordan Poole to have. I think he's gonna be good for Kuzma too. And I think from the experience last year, like a lot of those guys have never been used to like that type of losing, and to only win 16 games. Like when you're winning less than 20 games in a season, like that humbles you. Cause like you gotta think about it. Like these guys are in the NBA, sure, right? But like everybody that's been in the NBA, like they were the best player on their high school team. They're probably, you know, top 2 on their college team, depending on, you know, how stacked their college team was. And especially for Jordan Poole and Kuzma, like they came from winning situations. So to be a part of this is different. I mean, Kuzma, you know, had a little bit rougher at the beginning of his career. Jordan Poole came into when the Warriors, you know, were super like plagued by injuries, but being, you know, a fully healthy team and still losing all those games, like that's a different situation. And they were the laughing stock of the league, you know. I mean, and when they lost to the Pistons, like that was bad too, you know, because Kyle Kuzma was talking and you know, saying, "Oh well, we can't be that team." Like, well, guess what? You are that team, right? You guys are both that team. Anyone who's not winning more than 20 games does not want to be that team. So if you are that team, you shouldn't talk. But I think Jordan Poole is going to bounce back. You know, I don't think he's going to be like this. Like he's not going to go from what he was doing last year. He averaged like 17 points a game, shooting like barely 40%. I think it was like 41%. He's not going to go and just shoot 50% and be scoring 25 a game next season. Like he's just, I would hope that that's the case, right? Like I really hope that he makes a huge stride, but I don't think that's happening next year. You know, maybe if he continues to develop and, you know, make the right moves for his career in terms of, you know, how he's training for the season and how he's taking care of his body and how he's, you know, perceiving, you know, things on the court, off the court. Like maybe down the line, yeah, he's a 25 point per game scorer. Maybe he's a 30 point per game scorer down the line, right? That's me being a hopeful Wizards fan. Because a lot of people, when Jordan Poole got traded, they said, oh yeah, Jordan Poole is going to be, you know, averaging 30, right? Because he's on the Wizards, right? So I think he's going to be better next year. I think he's going to average 20 points a game. You know, I think that could be likely because, you know, you got Alex Sarr. I don't think Alex Sarr is averaging more than, in the very best case scenario, I don't think Alex Sarr is averaging more than 12 points a game. I really don't. You know, I think Alex Sarr is going to contribute defensively. I think he's going to get rebounds. I think he's going to be an athletic big to catch lobs and stuff. But like, he's not going to be a guy that's creating for himself or, you know, really even being like a catch and shoot guy. Like he's going to need to take close shots. And, you know, it's going to be tough for him to score early on. I think, you know, it depends on how quickly he develops. And if we develop him the right way, you know, that's very important too. Player development is going to be very key for these young guys. You know, but we got Bub Carrington. Bub Carrington's a good creator. You know, he's the son of a coach. So he's undoubtedly going to be, I think, not just good on the court, but I think he's going to be a good guy to have off the court as well. Despite him being so young, I don't even think it matters. I think he's much more mature than what his age would suggest. So I think Jordan Poole is going to have a much better situation this year because now there's a little bit of progress made from that first year of the rebuild. And last year was the first year of a rebuild that was long overdue. You know, and the way that Bradley Beal's contract was structured really didn't give the Wizards a lot of leeway to kind of, you know, give themselves any sort of head start. Like, at least when you trade a big player like that, in most situations you're getting back, like, you know, tons of draft capital and good players and this and that. And we just, you know, I think we came out a lot better than what I would have expected, but, you know, it is what it is. You know, I think Jordan Poole is going to have a better season. I frankly, I think you guys know my opinion on tanking and, being mediocre in the NBA. I would rather the Wizards play very poorly, play worse than how well they can actually play, because what's the point in being mediocre, right? I think you tank again, or not tank, but just, don't make the playoffs this year. If you're on the cusp, which I don't think they're going to be, don't make the playoffs. Get a high draft pick in this 2025 draft, which is supposed to be, loaded. If you can get Cooper Flagg or Ace Bailey or VJ Edgecombe, do that. Get another great young player. And then I think from there, then it starts making sense to try to put something together and win. Because at the end of the day, if you just keep tanking, and your players are basically incentivized to lose, first of all, your players are probably going to leave. And second of all, losing doesn't build confidence. It doesn't teach players how to play the right way. And a lot of what young players need is learning how to play the right way and getting that game time experience, that real time experience where they're, seeing the mistakes that they're making, and then they go into film session the next day and they're able to kind of be like, oh, okay, I see what I did there. And then the next game they come out and they're going to be better. They're not going to continue to make those same mistakes multiple times, right? And I think that is what Jordan Poole is going through, and I think he has a little bit of a head start now because he went through all that stuff. So I think he's going to be a good mentor to these rookies coming in. I think he's going to have just more confidence, and I think he's just not going to care as much. I think he's not going to care about the criticism as much because he never got put in the spotlight the way that he was being put in the spotlight last year. Obviously, yeah, he was on a Warriors team where he was, he had a bad game in the playoffs, and people would criticize him. They're like, oh, we need Jordan Poole. We need him to play well. When he got to Washington, it was like, you need Jordan Poole to play well every single game. Jordan Poole became, the Steph Curry of the Wizards, basically, where everyone's focusing on him and getting mad at him. And eventually he played so poorly that people stopped focusing on him. So I'm hoping now that people aren't as focused on him. He's going to take that opportunity to be like, okay, I've dealt with the criticism already. How much lower can it go, right? So just go out there and ball, play your game, because at this point, if you're doing the right things for your mental, JP, you're just going to block all that out. So even if they're talking good about you, don't give a there's no need. Why do you care what other people think about you? You should never care about what other people think about you, right? If someone's giving you advice and they're coming from a good place, that's something you have to dictate. But a lot of people in the media and a lot of people that, identify themselves as fans or viewers of the NBA, they might just poke at you, right? They might try to make a joke out of you. They might try to do all that stuff. And frankly, I don't know. I mean, I've probably done that, inadvertently to other players as well. So, but, when you're on that court, you're the one that's in control of yourself and how you make an impact on the game. So just focus on what you can do to help the team win. And eventually your stats are going to reflect that too. So if he just does that and does what he has to do and, keeps it pushing, he's going to get better. And he's going to have a much better career going forward than what this past year might have suggested for him. Because I think a lot of people were like, oh, Jordan Poole's done. Jordan Poole's not going to be good. And everyone was complaining about his contract. No one should be complaining about his contract anymore after seeing how hard it is to trade Zach LaVine. And Jordan Poole's contract is at least 15, maybe not 15. It's at least 10 to 12 million less per year than Zach LaVine's contract. I'm pretty sure the last year Jordan Poole's deal is 34 million. And last year Zach LaVine's is 48. So, we'll see what happens. But I'm rooting for JP. I think he can do it. I think he's going to bounce back. And, as a Wizards fan, all we can do is go up. So, to all you Wizards fans out there, we're going to get better. This franchise is going to be good again. Just have patience. Peace.